Very good morning, cadets. Hope you've gone through the previous video related to the chapter number 10. The chapter number 10, that is the political formation in 18th century. In the last few video sessions, we discussed about the rise of Bengal as a state, Awadh as an independent state, Nizam of Hyderabad, how the above groups got their independence due to the downfall of the powerful Mughal empire after death of Aurangzeb in the year 1707. So can you recall the founders or the founding kings of Bengal, Awadh and Hyderabad? Saadat Khan, Murshid Quli Khan and Asaf Zah is the answer. Today, let us discuss about the leftover independent kingdoms got the prominence in the 18th century: Sikh, Maratha, Jats and Rajputs. In chapter number 8, that is Devotional Path to Divine, we studied about Guru Gobind Singh and the emergence of Khalsa Panth. The reference is also made about the Golden Temple of Amritsar. So, Sikh religion got its origin of Khalsa Panth purely because to protect the people who believe in Guru Nanak and his teachings, from the external aggression. Seizing independence. The organization of Sikhs into a political community during 7th century helped in a regional state building in Punjab. Several battles were fought by Guru Gobind Singh against Rajput and Mughal rulers, both before and after the institution of Khalsa Panth in 1699. So, Khalsa is a cult or a group mainly formed to protect the people who believe in Sikh religion. After his death in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against the Mughal authority under Banda Bahadur, declare their sovereign rule by striking the coins in the name of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh. So Banda Bahadur rebelled against the Mughals and declared their independence. Sovereignty means independence, by striking the coin, that is Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh, and established their own administration between Sutlej and river Jamuna. Banda Bahadur was captured in 1715 and executed in 1716. So the Khalsa Panth got its prominence, and later it was continued by other leaders of Sikh religion after death of Aurangzeb. Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru of Sikh religion. And a number of able leaders in 18th century, the Sikh organized themselves into number of bands called Jathas, and later on missiles. Their combined forces were known as a Grand Army. The entire body used to meet at Amritsar at Baisakhi, the time of Baisakhi and Diwali, to take collective decisions known as resolutions of the Guru. So a system was started by them in which they used to gather in place of Amritsar on Baisakhi day. Baisakhi is just like a New Year day religion, like in Karnataka we celebrate Yugadi. So the infamous event of Jallianwala Bagh massacre, where General Dyer killed brutally several Indians, that is also happened on the Baisakhi day only, that is on 13th April 1919. A system called Rakhi was introduced, offering the protection to cultivators on the payment of tax of 20% of the produce. So system of Rakhi, today what we have, the system of Rakhi, to strengthen the bond between brother and sister. So such a system of Rakhi was introduced here to protect the interest of farmers. Guru Gobind Singh had inspired the Khalsa with the belief that their destiny was the rule. Their well-knit organization enabled them to put up successful resistance to the Mughal governors. So because of Guru Gobind Singh's effort, the Sikh religion could unite and face many difficulties without having any problem. So they resisted to the Mughal governors, and Ahmad Shah Abdali, who had seized the rich province of Punjab, the Sarkar of Sri Hind, from the Mughals. The Khalsa declared their sovereign rule by striking their own coin again in 1765. So, cadets, if you remember, in the chapter number 1, we discussed about sources to study history. In the major sources to study history, numismatics or study of coins play a major role. So this is so you can correlate that example with here, because there are two instances where the coins were minted in the name of Guru Nanak. So the minting of coin in the name of Guru Nanak is symbolically represents the regaining of power by the Khalsa Panth. So Khalsa declared their sovereign by striking their own coin again in 1765. Significantly, this coin bore the same inscription as the one on the order issued by Khalsa in the time of Band Bahadur. So, Band Bahadur also issued a coin. Later in 1765, the coin was minted. So, both coins were minted to remember the event of regaining of Khalsa Panth. Sikh territories in the late 18th century extended from Indus to Jamuna, but they were divided under different rulers. One of them, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, reunited these groups and established his capital at Lahore. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh established his capital at Lahore, that is in the year 1799. 1799. So they established the kingdom in Lahore in the year 1799. Now let us check about the Marathas. Of course, we studied in detail in the previous classes. This is purely purpose of revision. The Maratha kingdom, a powerful Maratha kingdom founded by Chhatrapati Shivaji. The Maratha kingdom was another powerful regional kingdom to arise out of sustained opposition to Mughal rule. So whatever we studied till now, it is purely because the sustained opposition towards Mughals, let it be Nawab of Awadh, Nawab of Bengal, Nizam of Hyderabad, or Sikh or Marathas, whoever it may be, they rebelled against Mughal rule. Shivaji, the time period of Chhatrapati Shivaji is from 1627 to 1627 to 1618, carved out a stable kingdom with the support of powerful warriors, families called Deshmukh. So powerful warriors called Deshmukh supported Shivaji, and the group highly mobile. They are the farmers or peasants. Shivaji used these forces to challenge the Mughals in Peninsula. After Shivaji's death, executive power in Maratha state was vividly by Chitpavan Brahmins, who served Shivaji's successors as Peshwa. So after Shivaji's death, Peshwas continue to be in power, and Pune became the capital of Maratha kingdom. So in the previous video sessions we studied about the Maratha kingdom was divided after the death of Shivaji. It divided into independent kingdoms. So let us check those independent kingdoms now. Under Peshwa, the Maratha developed a very successful military organization. Their success lay in bypassing the fortified areas of Mughals. By raiding cities and engaging Mughal armies in areas where their supply lines and reinforcement could be easily disturbed. Between 1720 to 1761, Maratha Empire expanded. It gradually chipped away the authority of Mughal Empire. Malwa, Gujarat were seized from the Mughals in 1720, and by 1730 the Maratha king was recognized as the overlord over entire Deccan Peninsula. So entire Deccan Peninsula came under the control of Marathas. And why Marathas remembered? Because of their system of collecting tax, introduction of new system of collecting tax. One is Chaut and Sardesh Mukhi, in which a new system of taxation was started. After raiding Delhi in 1737, the frontiers of Maratha domination expanded rapidly into Rajasthan and Punjab, into Bengal and Orissa in the east, Karnataka and Tamil and Telugu countries in south. These were not formally included in Maratha Empire, but they were made to pay contribution of tribute as the way accepting Marathas as sovereign. Expansion brought enormous resources, but it came at a price. The military campaigns also made other rulers hostile towards Marathas. This of course I discussed very detailedly because of the hostility towards Marathas when Ahmad Shah Abdali attacked in 1761. No Indian kings helped the Marathas. As a result, Marathas were defeated in the third battle of Panipat in the year 1761. So system of taxation. %25 of the land revenue claimed by zamindars in the Deccan. This was collected by the Marathas. Sardesh Mukhi. What is Sardesh Mukhi? 9 to 10% of the land revenue paid to the head revenue collector in the Deccan province. So this is about the Maratha kingdom. So later they were divided into Sindhyas of Gwalior, Gaikwads of Baroda, Bhonsles of Nagpur, Peshwas of Pune. So Marathas started ruling from different parts of India, divided into Scindias of Gwalior, Gaikwads of Baroda, Bhonsles of Nagpur, Peshwas of Pune, and Holkars of Indore. So that is about the Maratha kingdom, which raised to the zenith of power after downfall of Mughal dynasty. So let us check the Jats and left out topic in the next class. Thank you. Wish you a wonderful day.